In this video, we will be seeing the relationship between vectors and lines. And now we have these three vectors that have their initial position at the origin and their final position at this line here. So let's label this line as L. We are gonna call this specific point here as R naught, X naught, Y naught, and then this is gonna be R1, X1, Y1. And the vector that is formed from R naught to R1 will be V. So we can denote V as V equals, well, the coordinates will be X1 minus X naught and Y1 minus Y naught. So if we extend V to this direction, we will get a new point right here called just R. And R will contain the component is XY. So once V is extended, then we need to find the value of our new vector. R is equal to R naught plus TV, where R naught is equal to obviously XO and YO. T is any scalar or real number, and then V will be our direction vector. So what you can observe from here is that only this T shows that V got bigger, so we multiply it, and R naught will be added to show the initial vector. So this equation is called the vector equation of a line, and you should never forget it. Now, if we want to write this equation in the form of the parametric equation, we can do this. So the parametric equation, instead of having these vectors in their point form or like this symbol or V, then they have it in their component form. So this is how it goes. Let me show you guys. So this is our original equation, which is RO plus TV, right? So R would be X comma Y, because here is like that. RO would be X naught, Y naught, plus T times, then V would be P comma Q. So just V changes into P comma Q. As you know, we can find the value of V using this formula right here. Then we can actually simplify it to get the final equation as, like, their separate equation as X equals XO plus TP. And then Y will be Y naught plus TQ. So we're basically distributing each one to its own respective value, so we can find it. Now let's look at the standard equation of a line. So the standard equation of a line only works if P and Q are different from 0. So if they're not different from 0, then the final value of R would just be R naught. So standard equation will look something like this. We just simplified the parametric equation into the following. Here we just need to find the value of T. So this is going to be the standard equation of a line if both P and Q are different from 0. Now let's do some examples. Now try to do these questions without peeking at the equations I've written above. Try it out, pause the video, and then come back later to check your answers and how we can do it step by step. Okie dokie, so now let's start with the first one. But before we get into that, first we need to find V. So the first step is going to be find V. So as you know, the formula of V is X1 minus X naught, comma Y minus Y naught. So according to this equation, we can just find 2 minus 1, 2 minus 1, and then 2 minus 4, comma 2 minus 4, which will be equal to minus 1, comma minus 2. I mean 1, comma minus 2. Now let's get going. Let's solve A first. So A would be find the vector equation. So the vector equation is going to be R equals R naught plus TV. So according to this, we can just solve for R naught would be 1, comma 4 plus T would just be T in brackets. We're just going to put V, which is 1, comma minus 2. So this is going to be our vector equation. Next up, we have our parametric equation. Our parametric equation, we're just going to do the simplified version, which is x equals, remember, x equals x naught plus TP, and then we're just going to plug in numbers. And then next up, we will do just the y version, y equals, then we need to find y naught, which is 4, plus, and then the q, which is minus 2, so minus 2t. Now this is the most important step, or the most important equation, which is find the standard equation. So to find the standard equation, we obviously need to just write down the equation as x minus x naught over p equals y minus y naught over q. So why we're doing this is, as you can see here it's t, here is t, so t is equal to t, so meaning these two equations are equal. So now we're just gonna plug in the numbers and just find the value of t. Now we're just gonna find the standard equation of the line. So when we plug in everything, it's gonna look something like x minus 1, because p is 0, and then we're gonna put y minus 4 over minus 2, which will be simplified into 2x plus y minus 6 equals 0. So this is how we can find the standard form of the equation using two different points in which a line passes through.